Has anybody else noticed that the Midnight expansion feels quiet? Not in a bad way, not in a controversial way, just quiet. So let's talk about why Midnight feels different and if the hype factor even matters at all. Let's dive in. Dragonflight changed the game. I think that this feeling really began in Dragonflight. Dragonflight didn't try to shock players with crazy hype and insane features. It didn't reinvent the wheel. It focused on stability, regular updates, fewer borrowed power systems, and listening to player feedback. Now, I want to be clear, Dragonflight absolutely introduced big changes. The Drakthea Revoker, for example, and a complete overhaul of flying with dragon riding. It wasn't necessarily the amount of content that changed, it was the philosophy behind that content. Dragonflight didn't pile on numerous borrowed power systems, it didn't lock progression behind endless grinds, and it didn't hinge the entire expansion on some controversial mechanic or system. Looking at you, Legion Legendaries, just for one example. If you played Legion, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Instead, Blizzard focused on a cleaner foundation. Systems that could last beyond just one expansion and change the game for the better for the long term. That shift really matters, and it changed how expansions and the hype around expansions feels and how it's experienced. It's less chaos, less explosive, and naturally, lessens hype as a result. Blizzard also started talking more about sustainable updates, shorter patch cycles, they came up with clearer roadmaps, and focused on keeping players engaged between expansions rather than just betting everything on a new release. So Midnight isn't releasing into some crazy chaos, it's releasing into stability, and that is a huge distinction. Midnight feels like a middle chapter.
The Worldsoul Saga. It cannot be contained within any single expansion. It is built to play out over multiple expansions over the next few years.
A consequence of Midnight being part 2 of a 3 expansion arc is that it feels kind of like the middle child. It misses the hype of the first release, and it can't have the climactic drama of the final entry. So it's in a really unusual position where it has to be engaging whilst not having any of the mystery of a new beginning or the dramatic climax of an ending. We all know that Midnight will largely continue to set things up for the final expansion in the series, and that naturally reduces excitement for some players. Compare that with some expansions like Legion or, dare I say it, even Shadowlands. There was a lot more mystery, a lot more speculation, a lot more fan theory, and a lot more pre-release hype. Midnight has to own a unique position for a WoW expansion. It's kind of like the bridge that will get to the destination rather than the destination itself, or the plane that will fly to the location rather than the location itself. And naturally, people don't really care about the method of travel, they want to see the place that they're going to get to. Hopefully, there will be some standalone surprises within Midnight that don't necessarily impact the long-term story, but just provide a bit of short-term surprise, subvert expectations, and that'll naturally boost community engagement. My third point is that Blizzard's communication style has shifted. And that's not just their communication, that's their marketing style too. It's less mystery, less mic droppy, and more explanatory and reasoned. Compared to the past, we're regularly hearing about long-term plans, system philosophies, player trust, and the impact of our feedback. Now, in my opinion, this is fantastic. It's far healthier for the game and will keep the game stable for many, many years to come. But it's human nature that we often find predictability to just be boring. It doesn't generate the same emotional spikes. Hype thrives on uncertainty, and Blizzard has dramatically and deliberately reduced uncertainty within the last couple of years. So, does this actually matter? Does quieter hype really change anything? Honestly, I don't think so. For a start, the World of Warcraft audience is generally older now than the audience of many other games. A lot of us don't need fireworks and chaos, we want consistency and clarity. Many of us would rather see Midnight launch smoothly, update regularly, respect our time and listen to our feedback, as opposed to a mysterious and chaotic launch followed by complete silence from Blizzard. WoW is growing up, favouring longevity over short-term spectacle. And honestly, that's probably for the best. But how do you guys feel about this? Does Midnight feel underhyped? Are you worried that it sounds too safe? Or does the quiet, considered approach taken by Blizzard actually make you more optimistic? Let me know in the comments, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.